Gervonta "Tank" Davis is back in the headlines, and it's not for anything inside the ring. This time it's a heavy legal mess, with the Miami Gardens Police Department issuing an arrest warrant that's got everyone talking. It hits extra hard because it comes only months after that highly anticipated November matchup with Jake Paul got pulled. Promoters reportedly backed out after a civil lawsuit tied to allegations of domestic abuse. And since then, things haven't calmed down at all. If anything, it's gotten louder and more serious. Police statements say Davis is now facing multiple criminal charges, including battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping.
And right now at noon, police have issued a warrant for professional boxer WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis.
He is facing one charges again, all in connection with an alleged domestic violence.
While the legal side heats up, the boxing world is moving fast too, and the WBA is stepping in with a clear decision about his championship belt. Now let's lay this out straight. What's happening? What could realistically come next? And how this shakes up not just Tank's future, but the whole lightweight division. Because after the Jake Paul fight fell apart, a lot of people were hoping that was the moment he'd finally turn a corner. Those allegations that got the fight canceled came from a civil lawsuit, and a lot of people were hoping that would be the last time his name got tied to trouble like this. Folks wanted to see him lock in, stay focused, and go on the kind of run everyone expected. But instead, it looks like the Miami Gardens Police Department has been taking a harder look at what's been said and what's been reported. Just a few days ago, an official warrant dropped for the charges I mentioned earlier, and as of this recording, Gervonta still hasn't turned himself in. And there's been no public confirmation that MGPD has arrested him yet. When the news first hit, I was planning to hold off until he was at least in custody before speaking on it. But days have passed now, and that still hasn't happened. Even without him being in custody yet, there's still a lot to unpack here. The alleged incident reportedly went down on October 27th at a gentleman's club in Miami, and that detail alone has people talking crazy. I'm not here to play detective or toss rumors around, but what's making this feel extra serious is what police are pointing to in their own reporting. According to police, surveillance footage from the club appears to line up with the woman's account of what happened, and that's a big reason a warrant was issued in the first place. When a case shifts from he said, she said to there might be video, the whole situation hits different, fast. So what's Davis's next move?
a.m. while working, the victim was approached by Mr. Davis. The victim reported that Mr. Davis grabbed her by her back of her head, pulling her by her hair with one hand and by her throat with the other. He forcefully escorted her down a stairway and toward the parking garage while maintaining his grip on the back of her head. Upon reaching the parking garage, the victim reported that Mr. Davis released her, at which point she was able to run towards her co-workers for safety. The victim further reported that she has known Mr. Davis since 2022, and they were previously involved in an intimate relationship for approximately 5 months, which ended about a month prior to the incident. Lead detective Gary Florencio obtained and reviewed video surveillance footage that corroborates key elements of the victim's statement. As a result of the diligent and hard work of our Special Victims Unit, an arrest warrant has been issued for Gervonta Bryant Davis on the following charges: battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping.
He's basically got two lanes: turn himself in or wait for authorities to find him. And let's keep it real. When you're a worldwide star like Gervonta Davis, trying to disappear isn't some slick master plan, it's a messy gamble. He still hasn't turned himself in as of this recording, but there could be legal moves happening behind the scenes that the public doesn't know about. The moment he ends up in custody, that's when the real legal storm starts. Yeah, he'll obviously be pushing for bond, but the huge issue hanging over all of this is his probation. Remember, Tank was already on probation from that 2020 hit-and-run case, and he got 3 years of probation back in 2023. Then it was extended another 18 months last year after a violation, where the judge basically told him he needs to wake up. Now, full transparency, I'm not a legal expert at all, and to be crystal clear, these are allegations. Gervonta hasn't been convicted of anything in this case, and like anyone else, he's presumed innocent until everything plays out in court. But what I can speak on is the boxing side, and the outlook doesn't look too good right now. In my opinion, this could seriously be the beginning of the end for Tank's career, not just because of the charges, but because of the time and pressure it can take off his prime. He's 31, and big legal cases don't wrap up overnight. Even if he gets bond, things like travel restrictions and the mental weight of a trial can make it tough to stay sharp enough to compete at the highest level. And the biggest sign we might not see him back for a minute is the WBA calling him champion in recess. That basically means he's not stripped, but the division isn't going to sit around and pretend he's an active champ either. It's the WBA saying, we don't want to strip him, but we can't act like everything's normal. While they keep the weight class moving forward, they can name an interim champ or even roll forward to a full new champion, so the whole division doesn't get stuck waiting on one person. On paper, Davis still holds the title, but in real life, that champ power is basically paused until he comes back and proves he's really here to defend it again. Right now, the WBA's executive committee is gearing up to decide if the lightweight division should move forward without Gervonta Davis, and if you look at the last 12 months, it hasn't exactly helped his case. He was loosely linked to a Roach rematch last summer, but once more legal problems started popping up, that whole idea fell apart fast. Then instead of locking in and defending the belt, he shifted toward that Jake Paul fight, and that deal collapsed too in the same kind of messy way. At this point, it's not hard to see why the WBA might be looking at it like, yeah, he's probably not coming back anytime soon. So yeah, they've got him listed as champion in recess, but the real question is, how exactly does the division move forward from here? The WBA still hasn't fully spelled out the next step, and that uncertainty has everybody side-eyeing what's coming next. If the WBA decides to push ahead with a vacant 135-pound title fight, the two names sitting right at the top of their rankings are Floyd Schofield and Lucas Barty. Schofield is tied in with Golden Boy, and Barty is connected with Jake Paul's MVP. So if this matchup gets the green light, both teams are probably going to be loud and confident about it. A title fight featuring one or both of those guys looks like the most likely path to that WBA belt if they choose to move on without Davis. But technically, Tank hasn't lost his chance to keep the belt just yet. The WBA president confirmed that Tank will get an opportunity to present his case as more details around his legal situation come out. So yeah, he's listed as champion in recess, but the big mystery is how the WBA actually moves the division forward from here. They haven't laid out the full plan yet, and that silence has the whole 135-pound scene gossiping like crazy. If the WBA decides to go forward with a vacant 135-pound title fight, the two names sitting at the top of their rankings are Floyd Schofield and Lucas Barty. Schofield is lined up with Golden Boy, and Barty is connected with Jake Paul's MVP, so you already know both camps would be hyping it up heavy if that fight becomes real. A title fight with one or both of those guys is the most likely route to the WBA belt if they decide to move on without Davis. But technically, Tank still hasn't lost his shot at keeping that title just yet. The WBA president said Tank will have a chance to present his side as more details about his legal situation come out. But let's not act brand new. Boxing is a business and money talks loud. If Tank can still guarantee big sanctioning fees and there's a believable path where he returns within the next year, the WBA might let him hang on to the title and figure it out later. The problem is, people aren't expecting those legacy fights we've been waiting on. Most fans are bracing for the same routine we've seen for years. He comes back for a safe fight against a handpicked opponent, then disappears again. And after a while, it stops feeling like bad luck and starts feeling like a pattern. Every time the division lines up perfectly for him to take over, something drags him right back into the chaos. The real heartbreak here is the talent was never the problem. Nobody doubts what Tank can do in the ring. When he's locked in, he's dangerous, period. The issue is everything outside the ropes keeps turning into the bigger fight, and he can't seem to get that side under control. Boxing has spent years waiting on him like he's the main character. He's been given time, space, chances, while real challenges got delayed and whole lanes at 135 stayed stuck because people believed he'll get it together. But that patience is wearing out fast, and being named champion in recess isn't some cute technical label. It's a warning shot. It's the sport quietly saying, we're moving forward with or without you. And that's a cold reality. What's wild, and honestly the most sobering part, is if this really ends Tank's run as an elite force, it won't be because his chin cracked or his skills vanished. It'll be because he couldn't lock in the discipline it takes to stay at the very top. At this point, the talk isn't even about who Tank fights next anymore. It's about whether we'll ever see him back in the ring at all. That's the real question hanging over everything right now. So now it's on you. What do you think about Gervonta Davis and this whole situation? Do you believe he makes a real comeback, or is this the final chapter? Drop your thoughts and let it be known. No matter how you slice it, this whole situation feels like a major crossroads moment. The lightweight division isn't waiting anymore. The belts aren't frozen, and the business keeps moving whether Tank is ready or not. At some point, reality hits hard. Either you lock in and reclaim your spot, or the game passes you by. The door isn't fully closed yet, but it's not wide open either. Time, pressure, and consequences are all stacking up fast, and every delay makes the comeback feel less guaranteed. The next move won't just define his career, it'll define how this era of lightweight boxing is remembered. And here's the cold truth nobody likes to say out loud. Boxing doesn't wait, doesn't pause, and definitely doesn't show mercy. While all this drama plays out, younger fighters are stacking wins, building hype, and chasing belts like it's open season. The spotlight doesn't stay parked forever. Every month away chips at leverage, momentum, and respect. Fans move on quick, sanctioning bodies move even faster, and suddenly, the name that once stopped division starts feeling like yesterday's headline. That's how fast the game flips when chaos keeps stealing the focus.